Power struggles within the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) are notoriously intense and secretive, often hidden from the public eye by the controlled narratives of Chinese official media. As the fourth plenary session of the CCP approaches, many are speculating about its potential to reshape China's political landscape, some even suggesting it could determine Xi Jinping's future. With rumors and theories swirling, we've compiled and analyzed the most significant developments to shed light on what might lie ahead for the CCP. At the end of last year, we warned that Taiwan was facing its most perilous moment. Now, new information has surfaced that aligns exactly with our earlier prediction. Anonymous sources from mainland China have disclosed that tensions between Xi Jinping and military leader Zhang Youxia has been rising steadily since the CCP's third plenary session in July 2024. According to these sources, Xi Jinping accused Zhang Youxia of corruption, using bribery charges against former Central Committee member and ex-Minister of Defense Li Shangfu to pressure Zhang. Xi also reportedly threatened Zhang with legal action over accusations involving Wei Fenghe, the former commander of the rocket force, allegedly leaking secrets to the US Air Force. Xi pressured Zhang to step down or face legal consequences. Zhang, however, decided to push back. In late 2024, as tensions in the Taiwan Strait reached a boiling point, Zhang ordered the East Sea Fleet to mobilize in preparation for surrounding Taiwan, attempting to force Xi to honor his promise to use military force to reunify Taiwan. But Xi suspected that Zhang was setting a trap and canceled the operation, missing what many considered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This decision sparked frustration within the military, who believed that Xi's actions had squandered a crucial strategic window in favor of maintaining his hold on power. Analysts point out that if Zhang's reported plan to block Taiwan was genuine, his military objectives were likely secondary. Such a rushed operation would have had a low chance of success. However, the person who pushed for the move could position themselves advantageously in the high-stakes power struggle. Zhang understood that even if the operation failed, it would solidify his control over the military. This would be a far more favorable outcome than being purged by Xi, even if it meant facing US military intervention or the CCP's eventual collapse. Xi, who had not fully prepared for an assault on Taiwan, was outmaneuvered by Zhang, disrupting his plans and undermining his political survival. Zhang's actions effectively neutralized Xi's ability to govern long-term. How did the power struggle between Zhang Youxia and Xi Jinping escalate to this dangerous point? The roots of the conflict can be traced back to 2022. During the CCP's 20th National Congress in 2022, Xi initially planned to push Zhang Youxia out of the Politburo and the position of vice chairman of the Central Military Commission (CMC), replacing him with his own allies. This was meant to finalize Xi's grip on the military. However, military representatives overwhelmingly supported Zhang's retention, forcing Xi to back down. This outcome greatly upset Xi, who was at the height of his power, and he vowed to remove Zhang. To balance the situation, Xi promoted his ally, He Weidong, from commander of the Eastern Theater Command to vice chairman of the CMC. This rapid promotion was highly unusual within the CCP military structure. Xi placed two trusted allies, He Weidong and Miao Hua, the director of the political work department of the CMC, to closely monitor Zhang. Meanwhile, under the guise of anti-corruption efforts, Xi began purging Zhang's loyalists. In 2023, a corruption scandal broke out within the rocket force, implicating multiple departments, including the Equipment Development Department. Former Defense Minister Wei Fenghe and Li Shangfu, the then-current Minister of Defense, were investigated. Li, who had been promoted by Zhang, had been his direct subordinate at the General Armaments Department before succeeding Zhang as head of the Equipment Development Department. Li's investigation included charges of bribery. Many speculated that Xi's actions against Li were, in reality, aimed at Zhang. Xi had used Li's corruption charges as a pretext to target Zhang. As Xi continued purging his allies, Zhang Youxia grew increasingly disheartened in the second half of 2023 and into 2024, even missing several important meetings. But this was just the beginning of a much larger confrontation. In July 2024, a major shift occurred. Overseas reports claimed that during the third plenary session of the CCP, a soft coup took place, and Zhang Youxia was at the center of it all. Sources say Xi Jinping's close ally Cai Qi withheld a large amount of military funding from the Western Theater Command, causing anger within the military. Taking advantage of a meeting in Beijing, 4 senior generals from the command reached out to Liu Yuan, a prominent military elder and princeling, hoping he could step in to resolve the issue. Liu, along with the generals and political commissars, went directly to Zhongnanhai to confront Xi Jinping. Xi initially agreed to address the situation, telling the generals to leave while he handled things, but he kept Liu Yuan behind, effectively detaining him. Xi believed the generals and Liu, who were all from the same hometown, were acting in a way that resembled a palace coup, putting pressure on him. The generals waited for hours, but when Liu didn't come out and they couldn't reach him, they realized something was wrong. In a panic, they turned to former CCP leader Hu Jintao and former premier Wen Jiabao. Hu Jintao, who was in Chengdu at the time, quickly returned to Beijing with 2,000 elite troops from the Western Theater Command. The troops were stationed outside the Luguo Bridge, and Hu, Wen, and Zhang Youxia led a group of hundreds straight into Zhongnanhai. Videos emerged showing armored units making their way from Sichuan to Beijing. The Central Guard Corps tried to block them out, but was quickly overpowered. Cai Qi was subdued on the spot. According to reports, Zhang Youxia confronted Qi directly, slamming the table and angrily saying, "My position is given by the people, not you. Do you really think you're the emperor? The entire country is studying your directives, with no time for anything else. The people are struggling to survive. Do you really think they see you as their leader?" This moment reportedly left Xi Jinping shaken, and Cai Qi quickly took responsibility, attempting to de-escalate the situation. Afterward, CCP senior officials and elders held a secret meeting. The military proposed that Liu Yuan take charge, but Liu refused. In the end, they decided to keep Xi as a figurehead, though his real power was effectively stripped away, leaving him a puppet. Following this so-called soft coup, the political landscape shifted drastically. In the second half of 2024, media coverage of Xi Jinping noticeably diminished, while Zhang Youxia began appearing in the news more frequently. For example, he met with U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Russia's defense minister, and even awarded astronauts. Some headlines even positioned Zhang alongside Xi, a rare move in CCP propaganda. Meanwhile, Xi's trusted allies began falling from grace. In November 2024, the director of the Political Work Department of the CMC, Miao Hua, was suspended for serious violations of discipline. In March 2025, vice chairman of the CMC, He Weidong, disappeared after the closing of the National People's Congress, with rumors swirling that he had been taken for questioning. Internal sources revealed that He and Miao were accused of forming political factions, with at least 11 generals, all loyal to Xi, implicated. Despite these setbacks, Xi is far from ready to fade into history. He's been looking for opportunities to strike back. His attempt to move against Zhang Youxia at the end of last year failed, when Zhang used the threat of a Taiwan Strait conflict to block it. In China, military power is everything. The most significant sign of political change often comes from shifts in military control. Let's take a look at how many of the senior officials Xi Jinping personally promoted over the past 13 years have fallen, and analyze the potential major events that could follow. Over the past 13 years, several senior generals promoted by Xi Jinping have found themselves embroiled in serious issues. 7 full generals have been publicly investigated, with 1 confirmed but not disclosed, and 15 other rumored to be under investigation. 5 additional generals may have been removed from their positions early. 13 lieutenant generals have been publicly investigated, with 6 more possibly facing the same fate. 1, Wu Guohua, the former deputy commander of the rocket force, died under suspicious circumstances in his home. 3 major generals have also been publicly investigated. A former senior CCP official, Wang Youcun, has pointed out 3 key points that stand out in this situation. First, in the less than 3 years since the 20th Party Congress, the number of generals promoted and trusted by Xi Jinping who have fallen may have already surpassed the total number of senior military officers Xi targeted during his anti-corruption campaign in the first decade of his rule. In December 2023, analysts from Canada's Cercius Group, which focuses on Chinese elite politics, stated, "So far, in our investigation into the CCP's rocket force, we've tracked around 70 individuals who have been detained. Australian legal scholar Yuan Hongbing revealed that, according to insiders within the CCP system, Miao Hua lost control on his first day of detention, staying up all night and giving aggressive confessions. He reportedly named over 80 military personnel, and later, with the help of 3 secretaries, provided information on up to 1,300 military officials, including nearly 100 generals and senior officers. Many of these officers were directly promoted by Xi Jinping or his inner circle. Independent commentator Zhang previously noted that since Xi took power, he has promoted 79 generals. Of those, 10 have been officially dismissed or removed, and at least 16 others have been rumored to have fallen. This brings the total to 26, more than a third of the generals Xi promoted. As for the rocket force, the commander holds the highest military leadership position. When a commander falls, a number of lieutenant generals and major generals fall with them. If all 3 commanders of the rocket force were to fall, the number of senior officers affected will be even greater. Miao Hua served as a member of the Central Military Commission and as the director of the Political Work Department for 7 years, overseeing the promotion of senior military officers. During this time, Miao personally oversaw the promotion of 54 generals. Many more were promoted to lower ranks, including lieutenant generals and major generals. In the first decade of Xi's rule, about 160 senior military officers, often referred to as military tigers for their corruption, were removed. In just the past 3 years, the number of military tigers targeted could far exceed this. Second, after the 20th Party Congress, the anti-corruption campaign within the CCP military has entered what can only be described as a black box phase. So far, the CCP has only publicly announced the investigation of 2 top officials, Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghe, both former members of the Central Military Commission and former defense ministers. These officials were removed from the party, stripped of their military ranks, and exposed for serious corruption. Other generals, including senior officers like Miao Hua, have not had their investigations officially confirmed by the CCP's disciplinary bodies or the National Supervisory Commission. Apart from Miao Hua's case, which was announced by the Ministry of Defense, the news about these officials' investigations only emerged because they were representatives at the National People's Congress, NPC, or Central Committee members. This forced the CCP to disclose their cases through the NPC announcements, or CCP Central Committee communiques, rather than their usual internal channels. But the question remains, when were these generals actually investigated by the Military Disciplinary Committee? Were they expelled from the party and military? Were their ranks stripped? What serious violations did they commit? To this day, the CCP has not disclosed any of this information. While some generals hold the rare titles of NPC representatives or Central Committee members, most military officials involved in corruption do not have such status. As a result, many high-ranking officers' corruption cases are being tightly controlled and covered up by the CCP. Since the 20th Party Congress, the CCP has used various tactics to hide or delay revealing the serious corruption within its military leadership. The party's strategy has been to cover up as much as possible, pretending nothing significant has happened. Third, Xi Jinping's closest military allies have almost been completely removed. Xi worked in Fujian for over 17 years, establishing close ties with the 31st Group Army stationed there. After becoming chairman of the CMC, Xi promoted a number of senior generals from the 31st Group Army. One of these was Miao Hua, who was appointed director of the Political Work Department of the CMC in August 2017. Miao was considered Xi's second most trusted ally within the military. Xi's closest ally He Weidong, whom he promoted rapidly to become a member of the Politburo and vice chairman of the CMC, was seen as Xi's most trusted military figure. Xi's original plan was for He Weidong to replace Zhang Youxia as the first vice chairman of the CMC, while Miao Hua would become a Politburo member and vice chairman of the CMC. Together, Xi, He, and Miao would control the military. However, things didn't go as planned. Xi's two most trusted military allies, He Weidong and Miao Hua, have both fallen. This effectively means that Xi's left and right arms in the military have been completely removed. In the 13 years since Xi Jinping became chairman of the Central Military Commission, 3 key military secretaries, Qin Shengxiang, Zhong Shaojun, and Fang Yongxiang, served as the director of the CMC's office. Qin Shengxiang is reportedly under investigation. Zhong Shaojun was transferred to the National Defense University as political commissar in April last year, and is rumored to have been removed from his position. Fang Yongxiang has missed 3 key events involving Xi and is reportedly reassigned. With all 3 of Xi's closest military secretaries now missing, the situation within the CCP appears increasingly fragile, leaving Xi's leadership vulnerable and uncertain. So does this mean Xi Jinping has given up fighting? Far from it. He is still resisting. Sources say that recently Xi visited former CCP leader Hu Jintao, hoping to ease the discontent among party elders and lay the groundwork for the upcoming Fourth Plenary Session. Xi's delegation arrived fully prepared, bringing along his wife, Peng Liyuan, as a sign of approachability, and even invited 6 standing committee members to join. However, Hu Jintao, citing health reasons, declined to meet with Xi personally. Instead, he sent Wang Yang to deliver a series of key messages. These 8 statements were direct and sharply critical, leaving Xi visibly shaken and caught off guard. Those present described the atmosphere at the meeting as tense. When Xi's group arrived, Wang Yang, acting as Hu Jintao's representative, relayed the messages. Wang explained that Hu, due to health reasons, couldn't meet in person, but had asked him to convey several important points and hoped Xi would listen carefully. The first message was, I, Hu Jintao, have already done my best for you. I am refusing to meet before the Fourth Plenary Session because I am soft-hearted and worried about making mistakes. Sources suggest this statement subtly referred to Hu's tolerance over the years, often choosing silence at critical moments. But with the sensitive timing leading up to the Fourth Plenary Session, Hu made it clear he no longer wanted to be drawn into any political conflict, for fear of making further mistakes. The second message was, your treatment has been the result of a collective voice within the party, the military, and the 1.4 billion people. This is not a personal matter between you and me. This pointed to the growing dissatisfaction with Xi, not only from within the party and military, but also among the public. While Xi's anti-corruption campaign struck fear into the ranks, it also raised doubts about his leadership style, decision-making, and motivations. The third message was, you want to meet me because you want to secure your power, maybe even seek lifelong rule or a regency. This is absolutely unacceptable. I advise you to abandon this idea as soon as possible. According to sources, Hu's blunt statement highlighted Xi's apparent intentions to maintain power indefinitely, which Hu clearly warned against, signaling a strong caution to Xi. The fourth message was, you are over 70 now. It's time to reconsider your legacy. Your family is large, but not everything can be about satisfying one person's desires. You should think about those who come after you. Sources point out that in the current anti-corruption climate, Xi's family and close allies have often been scrutinized. This message served not just as personal advice, but also as a reminder about the interests of his family and the potential consequences of his actions and decisions. The fifth message was, reflect on your personnel decisions. The recent fall of high-ranking military officials and local officials has been largely due to sycophants getting promoted. Your actions have caused great harm to the country. This statement directly criticized Xi's approach to personnel decisions, and the room reportedly became even more tense, with the 6 standing committee members present visibly uneasy. The sixth message was, Li Keqiang was a good comrade. His passing still pains me. He was nothing more than a scholar with no threat. Sources note that this remark pointed to the sudden death of Li Keqiang in 2023, a tragedy that sparked widespread speculation. Hu's words suggested that Xi may have been responsible for Li's death. The seventh message was, Xi Jinping was a revolutionary I greatly admired. You should inherit his spirit, not continue down this extreme leftist path. Sources indicate that Hu was using the memory of Xi Jinping's father to criticize Xi's recent political direction. The eighth message was, you should seriously consider what Mao Zedong meant by serving the people. According to sources, this statement was a pointed criticism of Xi's recent use of Maoist rhetoric to consolidate his power, suggesting that Xi had failed to live up to Mao's ideals. At this point, Xi's expression reportedly darkened further, and the mood in the room became icy. Sources say that after Wang Yang conveyed Hu's 8 messages, Xi did not respond directly. He exchanged a few pleasantries with Wang and then quickly left with Peng Liyuan and the 6 standing committee members. Witnesses say Xi's expression was grim, clearly taken aback and shocked by Hu Jintao's remarks. Peng Liyuan remained silent, walking quietly behind him. Afterward, Xi reportedly gathered his close allies for a meeting to discuss how to handle the growing pressure from within the party. Meanwhile, Hu's 8 messages began circulating within party circles, with some retired senior officials expressing agreement. While this leak has yet to be verified, the recent flood of negative reports about Xi's family, both inside and outside China, speaks volumes. Such a wave of scandals targeting Xi would have been unthinkable in the past, signaling that the CCP's internal struggle has reached a boiling point and could lead to the regime's collapse at any moment. Analysts suggest that the upcoming Fourth Plenary Session could bring major changes. But no matter how Xi's situation unfolds, as long as the CCP remains in power, the outcome may not matter much. Whoever takes the helm will face the same inevitable fate. The CCP's collapse is inevitable, and everyone is just waiting for that day.